I've done a thing. So this is not what I normally do. I'm normally working on these things, dirt bikes, but I've decided to change it up a little bit. And I also found a loophole that I was allowed to buy a street bike if I did it through a school project. So I've bought a street bike. I bought a 1978 Suzuki GS 750. Yeah, why'd I buy that? I don't know. I'm financially irresponsible. But I think it's going to be a good idea. So this is the beast in question. There's not too much special about it, except it's extremely clean for its age. It actually even has some original inspection stickers from 1983. That will not be on there for long, but I will hold on to it. But there's actually not much too bad with it. Except I do have a list of problems. So that is a couple of things. But there's not too much. There's a few things, so we'll go over those. There's small electrical problems. Brake light. If I hit the foot brake, the brake light comes on. If I hit the handbrake, the brake light does not come on. So I will have to figure that out. The speedometer, it kind of doesn't work, but it looks cool as heck. I do have the original one, which does work, but I much prefer the dual single without the big block that's on it. And high beams. High beams don't work, but the headlight's already really bright. So, I don't know, maybe I'll figure that out. Fuel pickup, I believe that's what it is. It has an issue where if you run for a while, let's say I go down for a long ride, stop at the gas station, it doesn't want to really start up after that. So I'll troubleshoot that, though I believe it's fuel related. And head gasket. I don't know if you can see too much, but there was some oil seepage that comes out of here after I was running it. I believe this splits right here and there's a gasket in there. And that should be the cure to my illness. I hope. But I will tell you, the whole bike completely apart. Carburetors are coming off, engine's coming out, and I will clean all of it, though I don't really need to, but I don't like doing things that make sense. So I will take it all apart. But let's move on to the cool stuff. Cool stuff. Lower the front. So the plan for this is to be a cafe racer. I don't know if I said that already, but to do that, front end is going to come lower. It's going to look a lot more aggressive, kind of like a Street Fighter look. And speaking of Street Fighter, I might not fix all of this stuff to kind of make it look more patina, badass, like I'm going to beat people off the line, though I absolutely will not. Handlebars. These handlebars are very straight up and down, cruising. It feels great. I've ridden it around town. It's absolutely a stable, planted bike. But I'm going to change that, of course. Hopefully still keep stable. But I will change this from the upright handlebars to a down low, kind of down here, more aggressive handlebar. I have some ideas with that, and you will all see what happens with that in the future. Custom seat, I'm gonna do a full custom seat on this. I'm gonna do the upholstery, I'm gonna do the fiberglass work. So this sticks way out. It will go to about here, and it will look completely different. It'll kind of be a one-seater, so no passenger princess on this one. Chopped subframe, that's kind of involved with that, but I'm going to shorten this and just make a loop. So this big tail light fixture setup will not be involved. And exhaust. I'll play a clip in a second. The exhaust actually sounds amazing as it is. It's a 4-into-1. This is inline 4-cylinder coming out into this one muffler here, and it actually sounds amazing. So I might not change it too much, but I do want a bit more noise because noise is cool.
assist.
All right, as you can see, it sounds pretty nice, but before I dive asphyxiation, I will show you that there is some oil that seeps out of here. So that's gonna be probably the first main thing, but I kind of want to just strip the bike down. So I believe I'm gonna start with taking off the seat, rear end, gas tank, get it off, emptied, all that fun stuff. And I'll keep you up to date on the way. All right, we're gonna take the seat off and then this whole rear clip. Not exactly sure, I think it's just mounted by 2 bolts right back in here. The seat looks like, yeah, it's just a couple cotter pins right here and here. And then this thing should just come right off, and then it'll be more bare bones, and then we'll get the tank off. So this bike, you can tell, is very original because every single thing that I try to do to it just strips. I didn't even put any manpower into this, but that strip, and there's a nut on the back of each one of these, which makes sense. So I'm gonna have to PB blaster the crap out of this and loosen it all up. But I feel, since these are the first 4 bolts that I'm taking out, this is setting a very bad trend for this project. Let's hope it isn't. All right, well, we PB blastered those 2, but I think I'm just gonna try pulling these here. There's a couple bolts inside in and around this, and I might just take the whole rear fender assembly off. I know I'm gonna have to anyway, but I kind of wanted to separate the tail light just so I could keep all the bits and pieces apart but together. But you're probably wondering why I'm using hand tools. This thing is so frail and I don't want to screw it up, so I'm not going to use any impacts or anything on this. So it is going to be a more tedious process, but hopefully we don't screw up in as many bolts as I already have, because that's 2 more than I already planned on doing. All right, little update. Whole rear clip, whatever, is all off. And I also went ahead and I took the front fender off, so you can kind of get more of what a look, or get a look at what it's gonna look like. Not really, but we're gonna cut around it here and kind of do a hoop this way. It's gonna be faced a bit more up at an angle like that, hoop around, and then custom seat I'm gonna make out of fiberglass is all gonna go right in here. And then I did notice this, the bolt to take the gas tank off. I believe you can kind of see the tank's kind of angled down just a little bit. I might cut and weld a new tab on the inside so that I can lift this tank up, I don't know, maybe an inch and a half. And I think that'll give it a lot better of a look, as well as with the handlebars going down lower. Now I might do a different fork, though that is a pricier option. But the quick and easy fix is just loosen up your triple clamp, slide your forks up, and that'll lower the rest of the bike down. Though that is gonna be, since you have less travel now on your fork, it could be rougher on the spring, so I might have to do a new inner spring whole setup involved there. But I don't know, we'll figure that when we get to it. For now, this is where we're at. We're gonna keep going. I'm gonna take the tank off next and just get all the cosmetic bits, these pieces here. Oh, that might just come right off. All that off, handlebars off, light off, and get it down to a frame. Well, time lapse didn't work, but gas tank's off. We kind of got a better look at what things are looking like down here. It's actually really clean. I don't know what kind of maintenance and stuff this thing had or where it got worked on, but the guy before me only brought it to a place once, but it's pretty dang clean. So that's good. I'm happy about that. Okay, here's my predicament. I know I need to pull the motor because I need to replace that head gasket. You can almost kind of see, hold on. You can almost kind of see where it's leaking from. It's right in here. Right here. Yeah, you're not gonna be able to see it all. The lighting's horrible. But there's oil that seeps out through here, and it's got this all disgusting looking. So my predicament is, this is a big motor and a big bike, and I don't exactly want to pull the motor, and I wonder if I get all this stuff out of the way here, if I can just take the head off of the motor and do the head gasket that way, because I don't need to touch anything in the bottom end, transmission, crank, any of that stuff. So I think I'm going to try to find a way, once I get all everything off, I'm just going to pull the head of the motor with it in the bike. I'm going to be screwing myself, I know it. Okay, so we got the airbox out. Airbox is over here. Started getting the handlebars off, but it turns out that every single bolt here is broken or stripped, which is annoying. So these guys are 2 broken bolts, and even if I want to get the throttle or the clutch or anything off of that, all of these guys, you're probably not gonna be able to see, but all those guys are all stripped there too. So I'm gonna have to do some drilling or some evasive maneuvers to get those out. But for now, this is kind of how we got it looking. The bike's pretty stripped down. Yeah, we'll see where we go from here. All right, I think we're probably gonna end it off there for today. I got some other stuff I gotta do. I gotta go pick up a new winter beater Volvo. Maybe you'll see some of that. But hopefully next episode, we'll be tearing into the motor and replacing that head gasket. And then maybe we'll, I don't know, start cutting stuff up soon. We'll see.